Hey everyone, Mary from SVGCuts here, and I hope you're as excited as I am about these really fun elf-inspired projects. So I've been seeing a lot of really fun elves on the shelf and elves in antique stores, like from the 50s and 60s. So if you remember any of those from your past or you've seen any, it's going to be really fun to work on these elf projects. So the big wow factor in this kit is definitely this three-dimensional elf shoe, which is really impressive. If you make it and show people or give it to people, they're obviously going to be super impressed. But when you break it down step by step, it's really not hard to put together at all. So I'm going to show you how that goes together. We also have a cute little elf face bucket, and you can fill it up with some shredded paper in the bottom and then put some candy in the top, and that is super cute and super fun. We also have a really cute little card here, which, although it's three-dimensional, it folds flat so you can put it in an envelope, and then he just kind of pops out and makes a really cute little decoration. So that's one of the cards that if you give to someone, they're probably going to save it and bring it out year after year as a really cute little decoration. So we also have this super simple tree-shaped box, which you can whip together in like 3 minutes. So if you just want to whip something up, throw some candy in there, super special, but quick, which is always good. So finally we have our cool Shadowbox frame here, which is extremely lightweight. So this double layer reinforced hole on the back can actually be used to hang it up if you wanted to, or obviously it can just sit right here. So it also has this really cute little three-dimensional elf sitting on it, and it takes just a plain 4x6 photo. And obviously you can make it with a different theme, not just Christmas. And the really cool thing is that it's a super frugal gift, because I want to say, how much does it cost to make? If you already have a cutting machine, I want to say like maybe $2 at the most. So really cheap, but still really, really special if you give, you know, a grandma a photo of her grandkids or what have you. So have fun with that. And then the paper that I used this time is by Echo Park, and it's called Very Merry Christmas. So it's really fun and really pretty, and I loved working with it. But like I always say, whatever kind of Christmas paper you have in your stash already or you want to go out and get is also going to look really cool too. So I've got all my pieces cut out for these three-dimensional items, so let me show you how they go together. So first of all, let's start off with our elf shoe. So now the main part of the shoe has several pieces, and your machine will have cut a number on the bottom of a lot of the pieces. So if you want to go ahead and lay them out 1 through 8 in a row, that'll be a good way to start. And then there are also 3 more pieces that don't have numbers on them. The bottom of the elf shoe is just one solid piece with no folding. And then the top of the elf shoe has 2 crazy looking pieces with no numbers on them. So the panels on the elf shoe, there are 5 kind of real wacky shapes of one pattern, and then 5 crazy shapes of another pattern. And then for the cuff of your shoe, there's 2 pieces. And then finally we have these little green liners, which are going to go on at the very end on the inside rim of your shoe to cover up the tabs and make it finished off real nice. So let's start by taking our number 1 piece here, and I've gone ahead and I've taken a pen and written the numbers in so you can really see them in this video. You don't have to do that unless you really want to. You should be able to see the numbers without drawing them in. So all I'm going to do is put glue on the side tabs and take piece number 2, and I'm going to go 1 tab at a time, and I'm going to line up the piece with its tab next to it. And I'm just going to go 1 at a time and give it a chance to dry before I move on to the next tab. So I'm just going to make my way down doing the same thing, and I'm just going to put glue on all 3 of these tabs. I'm going to take piece number 3, which is a little bit bigger, and I'm just going to go 1 tab at a time and give it a chance to dry before I glue the next tab in place. So now number 4 here is just going to go right here. So I only need to put glue right now on 1, 2, 3, these 3 tabs to put the next piece on. So I can take piece number 4 here, and once again just do 1 tab at a time, giving it a moment to dry before moving on to the next tab. So at this point I can keep working my way around here. I'm going to take piece number 5 and put glue on these 3 tabs of piece number 4. And again, just 1 at a time here, putting these in place. And you definitely want to give it a minute to dry before you move on, otherwise it might slide out of place while you're trying to work with it. So just keep going around. I'm going to put glue on these 3 tabs here on piece number 5, and on piece number 6 here I've got 1, 2, 3 sections. Those are going to be the sections that line up with these tabs, and again just 1 at a time, making my way up to the top here. So now I've got piece number 6. I'm going to put glue on these 3. And I want to try to get it all the way out to the corners so it has a nice hold. So now I can take piece number 7 here and line that up. And work my way up to the top. And hopefully it's pretty self-explanatory. I would like to think that if someone just handed you all these pieces and didn't tell you how to do it, I would like to think that if you really had to figure it out, that you could. I try to make it as easy as possible, because it takes the fun out if it's not super easy and logical. So now I've got all 8 pieces here. I can just put glue on number 8, and I'm going to close out the back of my shoe. So again, just line it all up, 1 tab at a time, and give it a chance to dry. And There's the final tab there. Okay. So now what about this front part here? We are going to glue this one here, like this. This whole side is going to get glued to all these tabs. And if you're not sure if you have the right one, you can tell, because if you try to grab the other one, you can see that it doesn't fit. Kind of like a puzzle. So hopefully doing this kind of stuff maybe keeps your brain young, because it's something new for your mind to think about and figure out, which is always kind of fun. So I'm putting glue on all of these, and I'm just going to do the same thing I did before, which is to do one tab at a time, giving it a chance to dry, and moving down one at a time. So now we're starting to get into some different shaping here. It's starting to take place or take shape, I mean. And I'm just lining it up. And it's pretty clear when you've got it in your hands. It's pretty clear what to do next when you just take it one step at a time. And I can put the final one in place here. And now I just need to do the same thing with this piece. I'm going to go ahead and fold it the right way, and just go ahead and put glue on all of these and put this guy in place. So now my elf shoe is almost completely done here, except for this final row of tabs, which I need to glue closed to close up my shoe. So I'm just doing the same thing as before, just putting glue on each tab, which I will glue one at a time into place. So again, I'm just going one at a time here, and it helps to have my other hand up inside the shoe from the other side to guide each tab into place while it dries. And the closer I get to being done with this part, the easier it kind of falls into place. And there's the final one. Okay, so now let's flip it over and put the bottom on. So now here's the bottom of my shoe, and the bottom piece just goes right here. One end of this sole is flat and one end is pointy. The pointy end is going to go at the heel. So I'm going to start by only putting glue on these first two tabs here, which just happen to be number 4 and number 5. And I'm going to glue them right to the flat part of the sole of my shoe. And I really want to get a nice hold on these pieces, because it's going to help keep it in place while I glue the rest of the tabs. So definitely give it a chance to dry before you move on. And now I just want to do a few at a time here, because if I would put glue on all of them right now, I'm afraid that the glue would start to dry before I get a chance to finish it. So let's just do maybe 4 or 5. And just kind of guide each one gently into place. And I need to get up in here and get some more glue on. On maybe the next, maybe just the rest of it. I can go ahead and put a nice little few lines of glue on each of these. Now I'm going to flip it around and start guiding each of these into place. And I'm just kind of scooting it around if it doesn't look like it's lining up properly. And just adjusting it as necessary here. And we've got the bottom on. Okay. So next let's take our green finishing pieces here, which I'm going to flip over because they go on the inside here. And all you're going to do is glue them right in the center of each panel here. So that one goes there, and each one that you grab, you can tell where it goes. So just glue those around on the top, on the inside to finish it off. So next for our panel pieces here, we've got 5 of each of these 2 designs, and these are just going to get glued like so. If you want to go ahead and rub an ink pad around the edge first, that's always a nice touch, and just glue that right on one at a time and make your way around your shoe until you've got all those panels glued on. Then you can take your cuff pieces, and these just go right around the top on each side. So next for our elf face bag here, I wanted to just point out that for his face, it's real easy to tell where you're going to glue his eyes and his nose, his mouth and everything, because if you look closely, you can see that your machine has scored these little guidelines here, which are just a little bit smaller than the pieces that go on them. You can see where his eyebrows go. You don't need to draw them in. I'm just doing this so that you can really see in the video that you can tell exactly where to glue his face. And if you don't want it to have this on it, you can look in your extras folder and there's a blank one in there. So another nice little touch that I did here was on his cheeks. It's kind of hard to see it, but I actually went into my own makeup stash and I got a little makeup brush. Actually, I got a little paintbrush and I got my blush and I just put some blush on his cheeks, which actually made him look a lot cuter. I felt like something was missing when I was looking at him. So to make the bag part that goes behind his face here, we've got 2 pieces like this. We've got a front and a back and the bottom, and then this, which his face and everything goes on. So first, let's just grab one of these side pieces, and there's 2 of them and they're identical to each other, so it doesn't matter which one. And I'm just going to put glue on both of those tabs, and then I'm just going to line this up here, give it a chance to dry, and just line the other part up. Super simple. Just go ahead and do that to the other 2 pieces to form the body of the bag. And let's say that I have all 4 of mine together, then I would just take the bottom, glue that on, and then I would glue his face flush with the bottom here and just right in the center on the bottom. And you can go ahead and put his face on. So next, to make either this elf on the card or the elf on the shadow box here, it's the same principle. We've got the body of our elf, which is pretty obvious how he goes together here. His body just folds up like a regular old vintage elf. And to put his little hands on, you're just going to glue his little hands in place like this. And then let's take a look at his face. So his little tiny face also has some guidelines, which your machine has cut or scored in place. And now when you're working with such tiny shapes, you can either, pick them up, which can be kind of tricky. I happen to have this pretty handy tool that my mom actually got me. It's called a Quick Stick by Quick Cuts, and it's just a little bit sticky so that if you want to just pick something up, it makes it easy. And the end comes off so that you can kind of like get your sticky thing off of it. So I used that when I was putting his face together. So let me just do one of his eyes so that I can show you some other little things that I did here. Just put a tiny bit of glue on the brown. So now that I've got his little eye glued on, I think it adds a nice touch to take a white gel pen. This one I got at Archivers. It is by Uniball, and there's several different brands. I think I've gotten some at Michael's before too. And I just like to draw a tiny little white dot to make his eye look more lifelike, like it has a reflection in it. And then obviously it's just going to get glued on the little spaces that are designated there on his face. So for his nose, there's 4 or 5 of these little pieces. They just get stacked up on his nose to add dimension. That's why there's so many of them. And then for his cheeks, I actually took I have a Copic marker here, which is called Shadow Pink. It's RV32. I think any kind of light pink is going to look nice. So the paper that I'm using for his flesh tone is by Basil, and it's called Peach Glow. So what I'm going to do is just draw a circle on his cheek, and it looks kind of like too visible. So I have this Copic blending. It's called a colorless blender, and I'm just going to go around the edge of it, which kind of blends in the color and spreads it out a little bit. And then once that dries, it's going to make it look, like this. That's how I did that. So if you've got a pink colored pencil or some other kind of method, that could totally work too. So next for our super simple tree box here, I've got the lid, which is just all one piece, and all we're going to do is put glue along this tab and just fold that into place. Super easy. Now for the bottom, again, all we're going to do is put glue on this tab and put that in place. Then we can flip it over and put glue on all 4 of these tabs, and then just put the bottom into place. So finally, for our Shadowbox frame, we've got the front of it here, which looks like a frame. We've got the inside where your photo is going to go, and we've got 4 pieces that make up the sides. Now the top, you know it's the top because it has a circle, and then we've got 2 sides, the bottom and the second side here. Then we just have the back. So if you want to go ahead and put your panels in place here, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can go ahead and do that on here while it's flat. You can also go ahead and put your photo in place. And I find if you have some double-sided tape of any kind, that is the best thing for putting photos down. Sometimes if I use this glue behind a photo, you can see like little squiggle lines where the glue is. So all we're going to do to form this piece is put glue on all 4 of these little triangles one at a time, and just glue that right onto its neighbor here. So there's 3 more. You can just go ahead and do that to the other 3. So before you put the glue on, you just want to bend it towards yourself and then go ahead and put your glue on. So here is my finished interior piece. I'm just going to set that aside, and I'm going to grab my 4 sides. So to start off, I'm just going to take my piece with the circle at the top here and And I just want to put glue all over this side tab and grab either one of the two identical longer pieces and just line that up right there and give it a chance to dry. Then move on to this tab and glue the other short piece in place, give it a chance to dry. And I'm excited to see how you guys do this frame. If you decided to make it, you could really kind of do like anything, any color cardstock, any color panels, any type of patterned paper. It would even be cute to bust out some of that pet themed paper, which I have some of, but I really haven't used it too much. I have the DCWV pet stack. That would be fun to use for this, and maybe do like a picture of my kitty or someone's pet that they really love. Okay, so I'm just gonna put glue on this last tab here, and I've got my sides glued together. So now I'm looking at the front of my frame here, and I'm going to glue this piece right onto the top. So to do that, I'm just going to put glue on all four sides here, just on the front. And I want to make sure that my glue goes all the way out to the corners here so that my front piece really gets a nice hold. It doesn't start curling up at the edges or anything. So I want to be kind of quick because I don't want my glue to dry before I place my front on, but I also want to be careful to get a nice even coating of glue where I need it. So now I will just grab this and place it on, and I'm just kind of squeezing the corner here like this to make sure that it's in the right place, which it is, and I can adjust it where I need to. And once it's in the right spot, I'm going to flip it over and press down from the other side to make sure that it's nice and flat and the glue is nice and spread out in there. So now I've got the front piece glued on, and basically what I'm going to do next is put glue all over these four tabs on the inside. I'm going to take my interior piece and I'm going to slide it in, and I'm going to line it up real nice once I get it in there with the glue. So you can go ahead and put glue going all the way out, especially up in these outer corners up here, because you don't want it to come loose in there. And mine's getting a little sloppy here, but as long as you get the idea of where you're supposed to put everything, you can be nice and precise and careful, a little bit more than me. Okay, so let's grab our interior piece, and what I want to do is make sure that it's flush here in the corners, which means that I need to adjust it a little bit. I need to slide it down a little bit and make sure that it's nice and even. So you just want to do your best to make sure that these edges line up really well, and just slide it back and forth a little bit as it dries if you need to. So finally, all that you have to do is flip it over, take a look at the back. These surfaces are all level here, so all you need to do is put glue on all of the outside tabs and the back, and just take your back piece, make sure that you line up your circle with the other circle and just adjust it until it's perfectly flush. Now, if you want to really give it a nice finishing touch, something that I did with mine is I took some sandpaper and I just lightly sanded all these corners to make them even more smooth and even. So there you go, super fun elf projects for you this Christmas. I hope you have a lot of fun making them. I hope your holidays are super special. And if you make any of these, you'll have to share a picture with us on our Facebook wall or in our forum or on your own blog or Instagram or whatever. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting.
Learn more by visiting www.svgcuts.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and watch all of our crafty videos on YouTube. It's a world of crafty content with you in the middle. SVGCuts.com, inspiring you to live creatively and beautifully.